Imagine yourself caught in a relentless storm, winds howling, rain lashing, chaos all around, desperately trying to seize control of every tempestuous gust. But with every tightened grip, anxiety deepens, frustration builds, and the struggle only intensifies. This is the human condition when we cling to control over what simply cannot be controlled. Yet, there lies a profound truth rooted in ancient Stoicism. True power emerges not from fighting the storm, but from releasing the illusion of control and embracing trust in the natural flow of life. In this journey, you are invited to stop struggling against the unpredictable tides of existence. Instead, you'll learn to identify what truly depends on you, the only realm where your energy can create real change, and let go of the rest without resistance. This isn't about passivity. It's about cultivating an active patience, a silent strength that transforms anxiety into focused action, frustrations into wisdom, and uncertainty into serene acceptance. As you walk this path, you'll shed the burden of seeking others' approval, discover the power of honoring your own values, and develop the courage to move in sync with your unique rhythm, free from toxic comparisons. You'll find that silence and waiting are not weaknesses, but powerful allies, grounding you in moments where impulsive reactions might shatter your peace. Through this transformation, you don't just survive the storm, you transcend it. You create a life that is lighter, more balanced, and deeply empowered by trust rather than struggle. Here, the tempest no longer dictates your mood or fate. Instead, your calm center becomes an unshakable harbor, allowing you to navigate uncertainty with grace and wisdom. This video reveals 9 essential lessons drawn from Stoic philosophy, practical keys to unlocking this profound shift. As you embrace these teachings, you'll awaken a power far greater than controlling external chaos, the enduring strength of inner mastery and surrendered trust. Your struggle ends here. Your power begins now. If this is making sense to you so far, please take a moment to like the video and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Your engagement helps these ancient yet profoundly relevant ideas reach more people seeking clarity and inner strength in their lives. We've spoken about the fierce, often exhausting, grip we try to exert over the unpredictable storms of life, a struggle that only deepens our anxiety and frustration. We've begun to understand that true power lies not in controlling the tempest, but in releasing the illusion of that control and cultivating a deep, abiding trust in the natural flow of existence. We started by exploring the fundamental Stoic principle of the dichotomy of control, meticulously distinguishing between what truly lies within our power, our judgments, our impulses, our desires, and our aversions, and the vast ocean of things that simply do not, like external events, other people's actions, our health, or our reputation. This crucial distinction, when truly absorbed, acts as a compass, guiding us to invest our precious energy where it can actually make a difference, rather than squandering it on futile attempts to command the uncommandable. Following this, we embrace the profound wisdom of accepting what is, learning to greet the present moment, not with resistance or longing for an imagined alternative, but with an open-hearted readiness to engage with reality as it unfolds. This isn't passive resignation, but an active, intelligent acceptance that clears the mind for effective action. Now, as we delve deeper into the 9 essential lessons drawn from Stoic philosophy, we move from understanding these core principles to embodying them in our daily lives. We'll uncover how to transform these insights into practical keys that unlock a life of profound peace, resilient strength, and genuine freedom. Lesson 3. The active patience of waiting. In our modern world, we are conditioned for instant gratification. Our lives are paced by the immediate demands of notifications, the rapid turnover of news cycles, and the pressure to achieve overnight success. We crave quick fixes, immediate answers, and accelerated results, often mistaking speed for progress. This societal rhythm subtly cultivates a deep impatience within us, making the act of waiting feel not just unproductive, but almost unbearable. When things don't unfold according to our meticulously crafted timelines, anxiety mounts, and we feel compelled to push, to force, to intervene, convinced that inaction is a weakness. We see waiting as a void, a time when nothing is happening, rather than a crucial stage in a natural process. We fill it with ceaseless activity, desperate to show ourselves and others that we are doing something, even if that something is utterly ineffective or counterproductive. Yet Stoicism invites us to rediscover the profound power of active patience, a concept far removed from passive idleness. This isn't about sitting idly by, hands folded, hoping for the best. It's about cultivating an intelligent stillness, an awareness that recognizes the opportune moment, the kairos, and understands that some things simply require time to ripen, to unfold, to reveal themselves. Imagine a gardener who understands that seeds, once planted, require a period of silent growth beneath the soil before they can sprout. No amount of desperate digging or frantic urging will accelerate this natural process. In fact, such interference would likely destroy the delicate emergence of life. The gardener's waiting is not passive. It is filled with careful observation, consistent watering, protection from pests, and an unwavering trust in the inherent wisdom of nature's timing. Similarly, in our own lives, many of our most significant endeavors, career advancement, healing from a personal setback, building meaningful relationships, or mastering a complex skill, are not sprints, but marathons. They demand sustained effort interspersed with periods of thoughtful observation and patient allowing. When facing a difficult conversation, an impulsive reaction might shatter fragile trust. Waiting for clarity, for the right mood, for the appropriate setting, can transform a potential conflict into a moment of genuine connection and resolution. When pursuing a long-term goal, the relentless pursuit of immediate results can lead to burnout and frustration. Instead, a Stoic approach encourages consistent, diligent effort, combined with the wisdom to step back, assess, and allow progress to unfold at its own pace. Silence in this context is not an absence of sound, but a fertile ground for reflection, a space where intuition can speak, where strategies can be refined, and where we can reconnect with our inner calm. It's in these moments of waiting that we often gain the clearest perspective, allowing our actions, when they finally come, to be precise, impactful, and aligned with our deepest values. This active patience is a silent strength, an antidote to the frantic pace of modern life, grounding us and enabling us to navigate moments where impulsive reactions might shatter our peace. It teaches us that true control lies not in manipulating every outcome, but in mastering our own responses and trusting the wisdom of time. Lesson 4. Shedding the burden of approval. One of the heaviest, yet often invisible, burdens we carry is the relentless pursuit of others' approval. From childhood, we are conditioned to seek validation from parents, teachers, peers, and eventually society at large. We learn to measure our worth by external metrics, likes on social media, promotions at work, compliments on our appearance, or the perceived admiration of others. This deep-seated need to be liked, to be accepted, to fit in, can subtly hijack our choices, morphing our authentic desires into desperate attempts to conform. We dress, speak, and even think in ways we believe will garner favor, constantly scanning our environment for cues on how to behave, afraid that standing out or expressing our true selves might lead to rejection, criticism, or isolation. This creates a life lived largely in reaction to external expectations, where our internal compass is replaced by the shifting winds of popular opinion. The fear of disapproval becomes a silent tyrant, dictating our paths and draining our vitality. Stoicism offers a powerful liberation from this Sisyphean task. It calls us to recognize that external opinions, much like wealth, health, or reputation, are indifferent. They are not inherently good or bad, and crucially, they are entirely outside the sphere of our control. Our true power, the Stoics taught, resides in our prohairesis, our moral faculty, our capacity for judgment and choice. This is the only domain where we exercise absolute sovereignty. When we tie our self-worth to the fluctuating opinions of others, we effectively hand over our inner peace and sense of self to forces beyond our command. We become like a ship's captain who steers not by his own compass and knowledge of the waters, but by the cheers or jeers of onlookers on the shore. Such a ship is doomed to drift aimlessly or crash, perpetually buffeted by external whims. To shed this burden is to embark on a radical act of self-reclamation. It means cultivating an inner compass that is calibrated by our own reasoned judgments and virtues, not by the fickle winds of public perception. This doesn't imply arrogance or a disregard for others. Rather, it allows us to engage with others from a place of genuine authenticity, free from the needy desperation for their affirmation. Imagine the clarity that comes from making a career decision because it aligns with your values and brings you purpose, rather than because it will impress your family or peers. Consider the freedom in expressing an honest opinion, even if it's unpopular, because it aligns with your sense of justice. When we truly internalize that others' opinions are their own, reflecting their judgments and biases, and have no bearing on our inherent worth or the rectitude of our actions, we unlock an immense source of inner peace. The energy we once spent crafting a socially acceptable persona can now be redirected towards building an unshakable character, grounded in wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. We learn that true approval comes not from the clamor of the crowd, but from the quiet affirmation of a life lived in accordance with our deepest, most virtuous self. Lesson 5. Honoring your own values and unique rhythm. Once we begin to shed the burden of external approval, a profound question naturally arises. If we're no longer driven by what others expect, what does guide us? The answer, according to Stoicism, lies in discovering and honoring our own intrinsic values, and in doing so, aligning with our unique rhythm. A rhythm free from the distorting pressures of toxic comparisons. Modern society constantly broadcasts an idealized template for success and happiness. Through social media, advertising, and cultural narratives, we are bombarded with images of perfect lives, flawless careers, and curated experiences. This creates an insidious pressure to keep up with the Joneses, to conform to a perceived standard, leading to chronic feelings of inadequacy, envy, and a perpetual sense of falling behind. We might pursue careers that don't fulfill us, but promise status. Buy possessions we don't need to project an image. or rush through life's milestones simply because everyone else is doing it. This toxic comparison robs us of our present joy and blinds us to the richness of our own journey. The Stoics understood that true fulfillment, or eudaimonia, comes not from external achievements or societal acclaim, but from living in harmony with nature. And for humans, this means living in accordance with our rational faculty and virtue. Our values are the internal compass that guides this virtuous living. These are not merely abstract concepts. They are the bedrock upon which a meaningful life is built. The cardinal Stoic virtues: wisdom, practical knowledge of what is good, bad, and indifferent; justice, fairness and ethical treatment of others; courage, facing difficulty with fortitude; and temperance, self-control and moderation, provide a robust framework. Within this framework, each individual must interpret and embody these virtues in a way that resonates with their unique constitution and circumstances. Honoring your values means asking yourself, what truly matters to me? What kind of person do I want to be? What principles will guide my decisions, regardless of external pressure or popular opinion? When you connect with these core values, you begin to discern your unique rhythm. This is the internal cadence that dictates your optimal pace, your preferred mode of operation, and your authentic expression in the world. Imagine a tree that grows at its own majestic pace, sending roots deep into the earth, stretching branches towards the sun, unconcerned with the growth rate of the sapling next to it. Or consider a river that carves its own unique path through the landscape, adapting to the terrain, flowing at its own speed, never comparing its journey to the torrent or the meandering brook. Similarly, when you honor your unique rhythm, you stop forcing yourself into molds that don't fit. You grant yourself permission to pursue a career path that genuinely excites you, even if it's unconventional. You set personal goals that are meaningful to you, rather than chasing someone else's definition of success. You make lifestyle choices that align with your energy levels and deepest aspirations, rather than succumbing to the relentless pressure to always be on or to participate in every trend. This freedom from toxic comparisons is profoundly liberating. It cultivates a deep sense of self-respect and contentment, allowing you to appreciate your own progress, your own achievements, and your own singular journey, understanding that your worth is inherent, not comparative. It's about finding your authentic flow and trusting that this, and only this, is the path to your most flourishing self. Lesson 6. Transforming frustration and anxiety into wisdom and action. Frustration and anxiety are ubiquitous experiences in modern life. They are the constant companions of ambition, the shadow side of our complex world, often signaling unmet expectations, perceived threats, or the resistance we encounter when our desires clash with reality. We tend to view these emotions as purely negative, uncomfortable, debilitating, and to be avoided at all costs. When frustration arises, we might lash out, withdraw, or fall into a spiral of self-pity. When anxiety takes hold, we often become paralyzed, overthinking, or frantically trying to control every variable, fueling the very unease we wish to escape. These reactions, born of an aversion to discomfort, rarely lead to productive outcomes. Instead, they often exacerbate the problem, clouding our judgment and preventing us from responding effectively. Stoicism offers a radical reframe. These uncomfortable emotions are not enemies to be vanquished, but rather signals, invaluable teachers, and raw material for growth. They are an invitation to pause, to inquire, and to transform. The Stoics understood that our suffering often stems not from external events themselves, but from our judgments about them. Frustration, for instance, frequently arises when reality deviates from our expectations, revealing a deeply held belief about how things should be. Anxiety, similarly, often points to a fear of what might happen, fueled by catastrophic thinking about future events that are largely beyond our control. The practice of premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils, isn't about morbid dwelling, but about mentally preparing for potential adversities. By acknowledging that setbacks, failures, and discomfort are inherent parts of life, we lessen their shock and diminish their power to overwhelm us when they inevitably occur. The transformation begins with challenging our initial judgments. When frustration bubbles up, instead of reacting impulsively, we can ask, what expectation is being violated here? Is this expectation reasonable? What can I control in this situation? When anxiety tightens its grip, we can inquire, what specific fear is this? Is this fear based on a rational assessment of probability or an imagined worst-case scenario? What is the one thing I can do right now to address the controllable aspects of this situation? This cognitive discipline is not about suppressing feelings, but about analyzing their roots and choosing a more reasoned response. It's about seeing the obstacle not as a barrier, but as the way itself, an opportunity to exercise our virtues of patience, resilience, creativity, and courage. Imagine a sculptor who doesn't curse a stubborn piece of marble, but views its resistance as a challenge, an invitation to adapt his tools and refine his technique, ultimately shaping something unique and strong. Or a martial artist who doesn't fight an opponent's momentum, but uses it to his advantage. When we approach frustration with this mindset, it transforms from a destructive force into a catalyst for wisdom. Each setback becomes a lesson in adaptation, each failure a guide for future success. When we confront anxiety with reasoned inquiry, it becomes an impetus for focused action, directing our energy towards what is truly within our power. This isn't about eliminating these emotions entirely. That would be neither possible nor desirable, but about changing our relationship with them. We learn to listen to their signals, glean their lessons, and then consciously choose a response that is aligned with our highest values, transforming potential suffering into powerful growth. This active engagement with discomfort is a cornerstone of Stoic resilience, allowing us to convert the raw material of adversity into the refined gold of wisdom and effective action. Lesson 7. Cultivating silent strength and resilient acceptance. As we journey deeper into Stoic practice, we arrive at the cultivation of what can be described as silent strength and resilient acceptance. In a world that often equates strength with overt displays of power, loud declarations, or aggressive dominance, the Stoic ideal of strength is fundamentally different. It is not about asserting control over others or external circumstances, but about an unshakable inner fortitude, a quiet resilience that allows us to stand firm amidst any storm. This isn't a passive resignation to fate, but an active, conscious acceptance of reality, of what is and what is not within our control, which then frees up our energy to focus entirely on our sphere of influence. This silent strength is the very essence of the Stoic concept of apatheia, which is often misunderstood. Apatheia does not mean apathy, a lack of feeling or emotion. Instead, it signifies freedom from pathos, from destructive, irrational passions like excessive fear, anger, grief, or craving. It is a state of emotional tranquility, a serene composure that allows us to engage with life's challenges without being swept away by emotional turbulence. This state is built through consistent practice of the previous lessons, by diligently distinguishing between what we can and cannot control, by embracing what is, by cultivating patience, by detaching from external approval, and by transforming adversity into wisdom. When these practices become habitual, they forge an inner citadel, as Marcus Aurelius called it, a fortress of the mind that no external event can truly penetrate or disturb. Imagine a deeply rooted tree, standing tall and serene, weathering the fiercest winds and the heaviest rains. Its strength isn't in fighting the storm, but in its profound connection to the earth, its flexibility, and its unwavering presence. Or consider a majestic mountain, unmoved by the changing seasons, the passing clouds, or the fleeting human activities at its base. Its power lies in its sheer immovability, its enduring nature. In our own lives, cultivating this silent strength means developing the capacity to experience difficult emotions, grief, pain, disappointment, without letting them dictate our entire being. We acknowledge their presence, we feel them, but we do not become identified with them. We maintain a rational perspective, reminding ourselves of the transient nature of all things, and focusing on our virtuous response. This enables us to maintain composure under immense pressure, to make clear decisions in the midst of chaos, and to endure long-term challenges, whether chronic illness, a difficult family situation, or professional setbacks, with dignity and an inner peace that is not dependent on external conditions. This resilient acceptance is not about liking every outcome, but about accepting every outcome as a part of the vast tapestry of existence, and then actively choosing our most virtuous response. It means understanding that while we cannot always choose what happens to us, we always have the power to choose how we respond. This unwavering inner calm, this quiet fortitude, becomes an unshakable harbor within ourselves, a sanctuary of peace that allows us to navigate uncertainty with grace and wisdom, regardless of the storms raging outside. It is the ultimate manifestation of inner mastery, a testament to the power of a mind truly free. Lesson 8. The power of trust, not struggle. Having explored the path to inner mastery and resilient acceptance, we arrive at a culmination, the profound power of trust, replacing the exhausting futility of struggle. For much of our lives, we operate from a default position of struggle, struggling against circumstances, struggling against other people's opinions, struggling against our own perceived imperfections. This constant wrestling drains our energy, fuels our anxieties, and often leaves us feeling defeated, precisely because so much of what we struggle against is simply not within our control. We cling to the illusion that if we just fight hard enough, push enough, worry enough, we can force the universe to bend to our will. This mindset is fundamentally rooted in a lack of trust in the natural order of things, a lack of trust in life's inherent processes, and ultimately, a lack of trust in our own capacity to adapt and thrive regardless of external conditions. Stoicism, however, invites us into a deeper relationship with existence, one characterized by an active and intelligent trust. This is not fatalism, where we passively surrender to whatever happens without effort. Rather, it is a sophisticated understanding that while we are responsible for our intentions, efforts, and virtuous responses, The ultimate outcomes of events are part of a larger, interconnected system, the logos, or divine reason, that governs the universe. For the Stoics, the universe is not a chaotic, hostile place, but an ordered, rational cosmos, even if its grand design is often beyond our immediate comprehension. To trust in this order is to recognize that sometimes the best course of action is to align ourselves with the flow, to release the white-knuckled grip on outcomes, and to allow things to unfold naturally, while still diligently performing our part. Imagine a sailor who, having set his course and trimmed his sails, trusts the ocean currents and the wind, knowing that he cannot command them, but can work with them to reach his destination. Or a farmer who, having prepared the soil and planted the seeds, trusts the cycles of nature, the sun and the rain, knowing that his efforts are necessary, but the growth itself is part of a larger, natural process. In our daily lives, this means letting go of the need to micromanage every detail, especially in situations involving other people or complex systems. It means trusting that even in moments of perceived failure or setback, there might be a larger lesson or an unforeseen opportunity emerging. It means understanding that while we strive for virtuous outcomes, the universe itself is indifferent to our personal preferences, and that acceptance of what is frees us to focus on what we can do next. This power of trust transforms uncertainty into a space of potential, frustrations into pathways for adaptation, and anxiety into a calm readiness. When we replace struggle with trust, we shift our energy from resistance to alignment. We become more receptive, more adaptable, and more effective because we are no longer fighting against reality, but working intelligently within it. This doesn't mean we stop striving for improvement or advocating for justice. Rather, it means we do so from a place of inner peace and strategic clarity, understanding that our power lies in our actions and attitudes, not in our ability to dictate the world. Your struggle ends not because you give up, but because you choose a more profound, more effective way of engaging with life, a way of power that begins with trust. Lesson 9: Inner Mastery. Your unshakable harbor. We've now traversed a transformative journey, from the initial struggle against uncontrollable storms to embracing the profound power of inner mastery and surrendered trust. This final lesson synthesizes all that we've explored, revealing the ultimate destination: cultivating an unshakable harbor within yourself, a calm center that remains steadfast regardless of the external tempests. The premise of this video began with the image of desperately trying to seize control of a relentless storm. We end with the realization that you don't just survive that storm, you transcend it. You become the harbor. In a world characterized by relentless change, pervasive uncertainty, and often overwhelming chaos, many seek external anchors: wealth, status, relationships, possessions, hoping they will provide stability. But as the Stoics so wisely taught, everything external is transient, fragile, and ultimately beyond our full control. To anchor our peace to such external moorings is to set ourselves up for perpetual anxiety and disappointment. The true, enduring anchor must be found within. This inner harbor is not a place of escape from the world, but a fortified sanctuary of the mind, built through the consistent practice of Stoic principles. It is the culmination of mastering the dichotomy of control, embracing active patience, shedding the burden of external approval, honoring your own values, transforming adversity into wisdom, and embracing a profound trust in the flow of existence. This state of inner mastery, this unshakable harbor, is your eudaimonia, your flourishing, your state of living well. It means that the tempest no longer dictates your mood or your fate, because your calm center holds firm. When challenges arise, as they inevitably will, you meet them not with frantic panic or desperate resistance, but with a serene composure, a clear mind, and a deep-seated confidence in your ability to respond virtuously. You become like a lighthouse, standing firm and unyielding on the coast, guiding ships through the roughest seas, not by controlling the waves, but by its own unwavering light and stability. You are not tossed about by external events, because your judgments, your impulses, your desires, and your aversions are disciplined, aligned with reason, and anchored in virtue. In practice, this looks like making difficult decisions with clarity, free from the sway of irrational emotions or external pressures. It means navigating personal loss or professional setbacks with dignity, learning from the experience, and moving forward with resilience. It means engaging in relationships from a place of secure self-possession, rather than needy attachment. It means living a life of purpose, guided by your core values, and experiencing a profound sense of peace that is not dependent on circumstances, but springs from within. This is the enduring strength of inner mastery and surrendered trust, a power far greater than controlling external chaos. Your journey into Stoicism is not just about understanding philosophy. It is about embodying it, transforming yourself into a source of stability, clarity, and wisdom in a turbulent world. The struggle to control the uncontrollable ends here. Your power, born from within, begins now. It is a power that doesn't seek to dominate the world, but to master the only realm truly within your grasp, your own mind, your own character, and your own responses. As Seneca once wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." In this spirit, remember that true wealth lies not in accumulation, but in contentment, in resilience, and in the wisdom to discern what truly matters. It lies in recognizing that your peace is not a gift from the outside world, but a creation of your inner self. You have the power to cultivate this unshakable harbor, to become the steadfast captain of your own soul, regardless of the storms that rage. How will you choose to navigate your next storm, knowing that your power resides not in fighting the external waves, but in the unwavering strength of your inner harbor? What single practice from these lessons will you commit to today to begin building that unshakable foundation within yourself? If these reflections have resonated with you, I invite you to subscribe to the channel for more insights on Stoicism and personal growth. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear which lesson spoke to you the most, or how you plan to apply these ideas in your own life. Your engagement fuels this community of thoughtful seekers, and together, we can continue to explore these profound philosophies for a more balanced and empowered existence.